Okay, so furthering what I said before, there's a couple of comments which have prompted me a little bit into what I'm going to say now. But what I will say is, people, look, the vast majority of you people, you don't know you're born. You've never travelled, you've never experienced any real cultural differences. Have you people ever been to a Middle Eastern country? Have you actually spent time around these people? Have you lived in foreign lands with cultures very, very different to yours? The vast majority of people, I think I can safely say, no, you haven't. I've travelled extensively around the world, 45 countries, and many of those countries I've visited many times and I've lived in for some years. Just to mention one, I lived in Africa for 3 years, people. It's a massive cultural diversity, and the people think very, very differently. I've travelled quite extensively through these Middle Eastern countries, Muslim countries, where you encounter a very threatening aura. The countries have a very threatening aura for foreigners, for the infidel. There's just an aura which hangs thick in the air, which is very sinister. So, you know, what I can say about you people, the Western people, is simply this: you've become too soft, you've become too weak, you become too gullible, you are too easily influenced, you have become putty in the world's master's hands, and you don't even fucking know it. You're as soft as fuck, and you don't even say boo to a goose, because that's how you've been conditioned. And now with all this freedom of speech stuff, oh, you don't even say any fucking thing. Look at what's happening, and you're swallowing it. All of you, you're fucking swallowing it, aren't you? There's one or two that are not swallowing it, but the vast majority are swallowing it. And so, look, there's a comment here from a guy that, you know, in recent times has been, oh wow, Aaron, your videos are great, and I can't wait to buy your book, and la 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 la. Well, you know, I've always maintained that whenever I get people like that, which are singing praises about me, well, they're heading for a fall. Because this overexcitedness cannot go on forever, because it just stands to reason that I am going to disappoint you at some stage and you're going to be crestfallen. And so it appears that this is happening right now, when this particular guy has just bought my book and just excitedly opened it and started to read it. Well, I would suggest you'd read it very, very carefully, and you'd ponder very, very deeply on it. And then when you have done that over a period of several months, because it's going to take a lot of digesting, then come back to me and discuss what you've found in there. Now, this person says this: I like your stuff, but I really don't see why you'd be so happy at others' possible fate, other people's possible fate. And this is in relation to, is the world heading for Ottoman rule? And I'm going, look, these people are coming over. They are in actual fact an army, people. And people like you don't seem to get that. And, oh, you're so liberal, and, oh, love and let live, and all this sort of thing. You've got to wake the fuck up, people. You've got to wake the fuck up. So, seems a bit sad. Really? What? Because I'm pointing out the idiocracy or the hate or the evil in certain creeds. Not only the ones that are invading, but the ones that are already resident. They are so fucking stupid. They believe in an absolute crock of shit. And if you ask them to explain why they believe what they do, they could only say that: belief and faith. And then if you ask them what faith is, they couldn't tell you really what faith is. They'd have to think very, very long and hard. They'd have to consult a dictionary, because they just don't fucking know. Basically what they're doing is they just want to believe that, or they've just been hypnotised into believing that as a cultural fucking undertow, and outside of that they think not. And these people are fools. These people are well, you see, look, if you look at the terminology for sin in the Bible, it is stated that sin means that you are without the grace of God. Because sin, you know, in French it means without, and so, you know, it's obviously a Latin derivative. But many biblical scholars will tell you that sin just means that you are without God. And so if you are without God, you are considered by the Bible to be ignorant. And so every single person is considered to be ignorant if they are without God. And so, well, I mean, how do you get with God? How do you know if you're with God? Well, you have faith. Well, isn't faith ignorance? You have belief. Isn't belief ignorance? You can't discern anything solid from those two concepts. Faith is you're believing in a pie in the sky, you're hoping something, you're fantasizing about something. Belief, well, you know, what's a belief? It's just an idea that you consider might have some sort of veracity to it, only you haven't tested it to see if there's flaws in it, and you look at the belief. You see, how many people want to turn their beliefs into knowledge? Nobody, as far as Christians are concerned, as far as religious people are concerned. And so I'm pointing out the idiocracy and the evil. You see, when we look deeper into these things, people, if you have sin, then you're supposed to be evil. Well, you must be. If you have sin, then you are complying, being complicit with the evil one, because you're not bowing and worshipping and grovelling at the feet of Yahweh, Jehovah, Jesus, Allah, Muhammad, whoever it is. If you are sinning, then you are evil. They're the connotations, people. And so, well, I mean, well, it is said that we're born sinners, so we're all born evil. And so, well, we're all evil. How do we get outside of our evilness? Well, unfortunately, in this life you can't, because you're born sinners. But by the grace of God, if you beg and plead every single day of your life, then when you die, maybe you'll go and sit alongside Jesus in his little fucking happy parlour. There's some bullshit like that. But when you look at it, it's just fucking nonsense. It's just stupid from the beginning to the end, people. And so I'm calling out ignorance. I'm calling out muppetry. This guy goes on to say, seems a bit sad. Well, in your eyes you may feel it's sad, but I don't feel sad about it. It just is what it is. I accept the world for being a shitfest. If you are so enlightened and free, why does a certain group rile you so much that you invest so much energy into hatred? Well, I wouldn't consider just the odd video here and there so much energy. I wouldn't consider it such a great investment. I mean, I don't carry the weight of it. I don't feel sad, I don't feel affected. I'm just speaking. You see, that's what you people, you can't understand, because you're all emotionally embroiled. You're all emotionally bound. And every word that anybody says, you're feeling all these words because you become so timid and so affected, you know, by the power of words, and your insides are now on the outside, and so when people say words, you feel it all viscerally, and you're so afraid, and you're so you're so vulnerable, so vulnerable. You know, what happened to people just like being able to listen to what people say without getting hysterical and emotional, and then just listen to people and debate it? You see, if you knew anything about human psychology, if you had any experience in philosophy, if you were well read in philosophy, then you'd learn how to think, you'd learn how to debate, you'd learn how to interpret information. And if you knew anything about human psychology, you could see that the idiots were just projecting their childhood emotions and pain onto you every time they open their mouths. You see? Well, people like me know these things. And so that's why we, you know, are in a different paradigm of consciousness. So this person goes on to say, after they think it's sad, if you're so enlightened, then why does it rile you so much with hatred? Hatred, do you think that's hatred? You don't know what fucking hatred is, do you? Seriously, you don't know what fucking hatred is. When there is enough of these certain varieties in your countries, you'll start to experience what real hatred is. And hatred is going to be accompanied by pain, suffering, murder and mayhem. That's going to be the result of hatred. What I'm doing, I'm just fucking espousing, I'm just philosophizing, I'm just psychoanalyzing, I'm just jousting. You soft fucking pussy people, you're not fucking, you're not born, are you? You're not born. You are still completely dead. You're ignorant. Just like Jesus was said, let the dead bury the fucking dead. Don't be throwing pearls to swine. You see people, oh Jesus, he's so lovely, he's kind. He despised the fucking Muppet every bit as much as I do. Because of their ignorance. And so read between the fucking lines, people, for fuck's sake. It's a weakness in you. It's a weakness in me, really. So, okay. Invest your energy in a wiser fashion. To say nice things that you consider acceptable. Look at yourself, people. You know, for fuck's sake, you know, you see, this is why 99% of the comments come from fucking idiots. At the end of the day, because they can't think, they don't know how to think, they don't know how to assess me, they haven't got a clue because they know nothing about human psychology, they know nothing about philosophy, they know nothing about wisdom, they know nothing about anything except how they feel and what makes them feel nice and what makes them feel nasty. And so what I said to this person is simply this. I said, hi, I don't think that... no, that's not that one. So I said, so, pointing out people's delusions and weakness... so pointing out people's delusions is a weakness. Right, that question mark. I asked that. If someone points out people's delusions, that's a weakness. And that's a failing. Really? Okay, so of course you evidently are a product of the modern times with the post-modernism, the liberalism. Oh, live and let live. Oh, it's okay. Oh, no, paedophiles. Oh, fine. Oh, transvestites, faggots, and oh, yeah, you know, transvestites teaching you through your kids. Yeah, that's normal. That's cool. Well, that's fun. That is. Yeah, whatever. If you're all up for that, then. I'm just looking forward to if that manifests as the future, where you are absolutely wailing and gnashing of the teeth in the world that you have permissibly accepted and promoted. Because it isn't going to fare well. It just isn't going to fare well when you fuck with people's minds at such a young age to such a degree. So pointing out people's delusions is a weakness, huh? So every atheist that has ever spoken about the idiocracy of faith is letting themselves down, question mark. Pointing out the facets of evil in religion, dogmatic, indoctrinated beliefs is a weakness. Really? I don't consider it a weakness, actually. I consider it a strength. I consider it an intellectual strength that we can see this shit. And I think it's a strength for anybody to say it. You see, but my previous video, the vast majority of people won't say it because they've got too much to lose, because they're too invested in you, the fools out there. You know, because they need you. They need your thumbs up. They need your subscription. They need to sell you their fucking t-shirts and fucking caps or whatever it is. They need you to book them for venues. You see, so the last thing they're ever going to do is kill the cash cow, isn't it? And so all you people are out there is cash cows. They know you are dumb as fuck. They know 99% of you couldn't think your way out of paper fucking bags. But they go and sit in front of you for 100 grand a time and they go, thank you very much, you fucking retards. Because guaranteed there's barely a single one of you that comprehends what I'm saying here in this discussion or debate. You know, you may think I have a very dismal opinion of the human being, but I've listened to hundreds of thousands of people speak, and very, very few can follow any lineage of rational thought at all. Very few people can actually speak without their emotions bursting through and perverting the whole conversation. People are just riddled with their own biases and insecurities and sufferings and afflictions and all the rest of it. And so they can't speak in a rational, philosophical, psychological meaningful way. It's just a crock of shit. This is why the powers that be are banning people from saying it. Not only have they got this thing about free speech, what they are actually intending is that you don't fucking speak at all. Unless you have the qualifications which are acceptable to them, then they are not giving you the freedom to be able to say what you feel you want to say, because what they know is what I know is you're not qualified, you're not able, and you're not responsible enough. All you got to do is just look at social media and just see the cesspool of the shit that people say, and barely an educated person among them. Pointing out the facets of evil in religious, dogmatic, indoctrinated beliefs is a weakness. So I say, by the way, bro, according to the Bible, ignorance is an evil. Ignorance is a sin. To sin means to be bereft of the glory of God. The vast majority of the world are ignorant, and thus by the biblical definition are evil. And you think that I am exhibiting weakness and let myself down in your eyes. Read my book, bro, and open your eyes, and then come back to me and talk about what you have found. Now, you know, I'm not being mean, I'm not being overtly dismissive to you, what you stand for and what your character is. All I've got to go on is what you say in your comments. I don't know who you are or what the fuck you do in your life. I'm just going on what you say you think you know about me. And what I'm saying is you don't know anything about me. You are just looking from one video to the next. And you see, this is how people are. I can put up beautiful videos which really empower the idiot, and I can tell them how to empower themselves and how to really know the nature of cosmic God consciousness and how to find the stillness and the beauty in yourself and in the world. And comments, where are they? They don't fucking exist. You just don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the spirit, you don't have the mental capacity, you don't have the intellect, you have nothing to be able to respond to anything I say like that. And yet when I go like, yo, fucking Christians, you know, I'm looking forward to the shit fest which is going to happen between them and the backboneless fucking mollusks. Oh, please. You think I'm sad? Come on, bro. Read my book, if you can now, if you can stomach it, or if like, I'm going to send this book back. Just fucking grow up. That's what I'm saying to my audience. I'm saying just fucking grow up. Grow the fuck up. Stop being emotional fucking retards, because that's all the Western world has created these days. Emotional fucking retards that cannot think their way out of a fucking paper bag. And so I've been crying out like a town crier for intellectuals for the past 14 years, and barely a single one has presented themselves to me, because they just are so limited. And the ones who are intellectual, they can see no value in speaking to someone like me because they're not going to gain anything from it. In actual fact, because I speak about other things like this, and I speak about Muppets, and I call people cunts, they don't want to associate themselves with me because their numbers are going to dwindle because, oh, you've associated yourself with that evil, awake and brave, and he says we're mean and stupid. And so the intellectuals are being more intellectual than me in one respect, because they've got their backs covered. They've got their mortgage paid for. They've got their penthouse flats fucking signed for and all the rest of it. And so, you know, people that are prominent these days are earning a lot of money from this media. I'm not interested in the money. I don't need your fucking money. I don't need your fucking acclaim. I don't need your fucking friendship or anything. I don't need anything from you. And that's one of the things that really upsets people, because when they start to watch my videos, they think, oh, I like this guy, I like what this guy says. And then when you try to, you know, be my best mate and, you know, have a relationship with me on some sort of a level that suits you, you discover that you can't do that because I'm not fucking interested. Because I know how fucking pathetically fickle people are. And it's just a matter of time before I'm going to see your inherent evil. We're all evil on whatever level. We're all potential sinners. That's the nature of the human being. And it doesn't have to have any biblical or religious connotations to it at all. The natural human propensity is towards evil. And the only reason that we're not doing it every single day of our lives is because we're too constrained, we're too afraid of the consequences, because we don't want to be incarcerated. We don't want to lose our houses and our jobs and be estranged from our families and the rest of it. So we shut the fuck up, most of us. But I'm indifferent. I've done the incarceration thing on 2 fucking continents. It is whatever ducks back to me. It makes no fucking difference to me whether I'm there or whether I'm here in lots of respects, because I'm myself, and I'm in an environment where I learn and I engage and I grow and all the rest of it. I'm never sitting in self-pity and crying about all the things that I can't do or possess or experience, because there's a whole other world that you can do. It's just worlds within worlds, people. And so, anyway, you know, I've spoken for 14 years until my voice is fucking sore. And penetrating very few. Very few. But that's the nature of the game, you know. There are very few conscious beings in this dimension. Very few. And like I say, you can look at people like Sam Harris, and some of you may think he's super conscious and intelligent and everything, and yet he brought hook, line and sinker into COVID, and he still does today. Where's the intelligence in that when the cat's out of the bag and everybody with any intelligence can see it was a complete scam from the beginning to the end, and yet he bought into it 1,000,000,000%. Where's the intelligence in that? Richard Dawkins, so intelligent, so renowned, wrote 20 books and the most prominent atheist on the planet. Well, I think that makes him probably one of the most stupidest guys on the planet, because he doesn't believe that there's anything called a spirit. He just doesn't have any spiritual connection at all. Well, for awoken beings, for connected cosmic conscious beings, it's absurd to think that there isn't spirit. Everything about this fucking thing is spirit. It is only spirit. It is spirit dreaming of the manifestation of idiots like Richard Dawkins and all the rest of it. It is spirit. And yet he's like a fish in water. What fucking water? Because they're too stupid to even realise that they're in water. So Dawkins is too stupid to realise that he is spirit. He is in spirit. You know, he can't see himself. He can't look at himself. It's spirit from the beginning to the end. Fucking hell. You know, is it any wonder I get riled? And now I'm as cool as a cucumber. I carry the weight, not. I will go on to do all the other different facets of what I do in my day, and when I walk out of this building and I bump into my neighbours, I'm the most pleasant guy anyone could ever meet around this fucking realm. I engage in whatever stupid conversations they want to engage in, and I'm a jolly nice chap by all accounts. And then I'll go to the gym and I'll be the same, and when I go into the shop, I go in there, how are you today, what's happening, and I've got something to say, and I've got smiles on the faces. You don't know that about me, because you're not intelligent enough to see beneath the odd video. You see, this is the thing. I've done thousands of fucking videos. You know, I've banged out about 6,000 videos probably over these years, and I've got, you know, over 4,000 of them on hard drive. And you know, I've said very, very beautiful, wonderful things. But as soon as I put up one video where I'm just jousting, I'm expressing just another facet, I'm an angler. Do you know that? Can you get your heads? You can't get your heads around it. No, because you're too fucking stupid. I am an angler. I'm casting out different lures and different baits to see who the fuck I can catch, to see if I can reel them in and see what sort of cunt I've got on the end of the fucking line. And you know, there are clever people amongst my videos, viewers, and now and again they'll send me an email. Now and again they'll just put a little bit of a comment down there. They're stepping back. They're not getting involved in the fucking shitfest, because they know it's a fucking shitfest as well. And you know, they don't have anything to fucking say like this, but they just let me know that, oh, that video, you know, keep on keeping on, cool. And so I know you guys are out there. And I appreciate you guys. And there is probably more than I give credit for. But because you seldom come about, then, you know, other things become more prominent in one's mind. So, if I started to read from my current book, Isis Unveiled, Madame Blavatsky, then I couldn't engage a single one of you in that. So I go, So nobody's interested in the supernatural, nobody's interested in all the weird shit the cosmos produces, nobody's interested in that facet of human consciousness. Okay, what are they interested in? I'll make a video about eating a burger. Oh fuck. And I go, okay. It really is like the movie Idiocracy then, isn't it? Because I can speak about profound things that it's like I'm speaking Japanese. But, you know, a video about lamb chops, oh, you know, it will trigger you into, oh, you're obviously evil, eating all those beautiful animals, and you know, all this sort of stuff. And yet, you know, they're probably sitting on a leather couch. That's the fucking stupidity of the ignoramus. You know, it's fucking shocking. It's fucking shocking. And so, anyway, I listen to, you know, who I consider to be intelligent out there, and I entertain my way that way. Then I try to impart some of it onto you, and invariably, you know, it doesn't go anywhere. Some of you write every now and again, probably once every 5 years, that my videos mean a lot to you. Okay, and then you disappear again, and so you fall from the forefront of my mind, and so I don't consider you when I'm, you know, spieling out my discontentment with all the myriad of failings of the human being. Look, people, at the end of the day, and I'll finish it on this, the human being is a failed creature. A failed creature in that the creature kills its own. And so it wouldn't be so bad if it just killed mercifully, unmercifully, everything else on the planet, which mostly it does in any case, but it kills its own. It's highly intent on killing its own all the time. That's a failed species, people. If you know, you're looking at failed species, that's a failed species, because they don't stick to their own, they don't protect their own, they don't look out for their own, they don't you know, have an investment in their own. They always want to destroy their own. They want to pedo their own, they want to murder their own, they want to imprison their own, they want to dumb down their own, they want to control their own. And this isn't just a hierarchical thing with the powers that be, it happens on every single tier of the fucking pyramid or ladder. It's the same everywhere you fucking look in society. And so what have we got to jump with joy about the human being? The only way it's possible for societies to live in peace is to absolutely become dumb as fuck and be terrified of doing anything against anybody else. So that's what the powers that be know about you dumb fucks on the fucking shop floor. And so that's why they're implementing all this stuff. That's why ultimately they won't have you saying anything on social media, because you are not responsible enough. You're not educated enough. You're not intelligent enough. And so it's starting now with the hate speech, but it's going to become more and more and more oppressive until the end. You can't say nothing unless you've got a license to say something. And who's going to be given the license? Only very, very select people. And mostly the people who are adherents and puppets for the state. That's the only thing. And that's why we can see in our country with our new Prime Minister clamping down and stamping on this and stamping on that. It is actually a fascist state now. And fascism is actually moving over the whole world under the guise of liberalism. And, you know, tell a lie, you know, often enough, and it'll become the truth. If you keep telling people we're a democracy, and in the democracy, you know, we're not going to have people suppressing each other with evil speech, and yet they are suppressing us at every last fucking corner and avenue, and the idiots, you know, invariably can't see it. And so the way it's going is because the human race are little more than fucking furry sheep, little more than furry sheep, people, the vast majority. Well, what do you do with furry sheep and cattle and all that sort of thing? Well, you got to put them in a pen, you control them, you herd them, you dip them in fucking parasite, fucking relief now and again, and when they're ripe you fucking reap them, and that's it. And so the powers that be look at the shitfest and they go, well, they're getting too old, we don't want too many old ones around, got to do something about that. Yeah, you know, they're too stupid to actually know what we're doing or know anything about you know, world politics, because it's too complex these days. So it's all got to be left to us, because we're the only ones with education in this, and there's a lot to be said for that. When we look at wars, people, oh, the Ukraine, oh, the meanest, it's because Putin is evil and he wants to be a Hitler and he wants to dictate and take over the world. No, it's got nothing to do with that. What it's got to do with, people, is there's resources there. There's resources, there's land that needs grabbing, and there's resources, and that's all it's about. The people haven't got anything to fucking do with it. The politicians haven't got anything to do with it per se as individuals. It's about resources. The West want the resources, China wants the resources, Russia wants the resources. Everybody wants the energy, people. That's all it's about in this dimension. It's about energy. And when you go into other dimensions, invariably you'll find that even in other dimensions, the entities want your energy. So what can we say about energy? Energy is energy. Energy is the cosmos, and we have an amount of energy, and when people have less energy, we want to take it, we want to consume it. When things have more energy, we're afraid of them because they'll want to consume us, because that's how it works, isn't it? It's like a planet. A huge planet has got more energy than a smaller one, and the huge planet will absorb all the smaller ones ultimately. That's just how it is. Anyway, what can I say? I just say so much, don't I? So many different facets and everything like that, which the vast majority of you just, you know, and even some people say, you know, like, hey, my favourite nutter, and things like that. I'm just acting. I'm just being in a caricature. You know, oh, I pull goofy faces and they say, you know, goofy things. I'm just like, will they respond to this? Do they respond to humour? From time to time, you know, people have said that, you know, they find my videos very humorous. But how many times does anybody actually say that video was fun? You know, you took the piss there, Aaron. You don't say it, do you? You don't recognise it, or you can't fucking say it. Something very bizarre is going on. You know, whereby you just can't come out of yourself. You're so constrained, you're so bound. I think it's probably because you realise on a deep unconscious level that I absolutely have everything and there's nothing that you can give me, and so therefore you don't. Yeah, you're really great, or I really enjoyed that, thank you. No, you don't do it, because you don't. You know that I'm too big for that. I don't need that fucker. You know, all I'm doing is entertaining myself, and I'm just looking at the shitfest. I'm a psychoanalyst, I'm a philosopher, and I look at things and people very carefully and closely, and I put on lots of different facets of varying energies and personalities and characters. And how many of you are just consumed by them and buy into it? And I can put up wonderful videos about to find your inner self and the nature of the cosmos, and nothing will happen. No comments, no fucking thumbs up, nothing, no acknowledgement. And then I can start to just tweak your fragile little pathetic heart. And then you start doing this. And that's the only real response I've ever got from you. Emotional response. So, you know, from time to time, I just get into bigger and bigger, more outlandish caricatures and say more outlandish things and call you all the cunts under the sun. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve it. What's happening to the world? Any number of things happening to the world. Why? Because they deserve it. We get the leaders we deserve. We haven't vetted our leaders, we haven't chastised our leaders, we haven't governed our leaders for so long now because we've been lazy, degenerate fuckfaces, self-indulging in our own emotional state that wants everything to be happy and pleasing. I want to be pleased with this, I want to be pleased with that, I want to be pleased with this, I want to be pleased with that, I just want to be pleased. And then when you're not pleased, I'm not pleased, I'm not pleased. It's pathetic. The world is a fucking cesspool. It needs to happen. We've got to get this inversion. We need a major catastrophe. We need a world global transformation. Because at this moment in time, it's a shocking fucking state of decadence. And so I rest my case, people. Fucking contemplate on that, motherfucker.